stockholders who returned proxies authorized each of the persons named therein to vote on their proposals before the meeting. Pursuant to the company's bylaws, there are holders of record present in person or by proxy of at least 33 1/3 of the voting power of the company's outstanding capital stock entitled to vote at the meeting, which constitutes a quorum for the transaction of business at this meeting. Thank you, Tony. We will now proceed to the sale proposal on which stockholders will be stockholder votes will be taken today. The proposal one, the sole purpose before the stockholders is proposal one, which is approved. The sole purpose before our stockholders is proposal one, which is approved in an amendment of our stockholder amendment and restated certificate of incorporation to effect a reverse stock split of our outstanding common stock in a ratio to be determined by our board and not less than 1-for-2 and not more than 1-for-100. Proposal one will be approved if the votes cast for the reverse stock split amendment by the holders of the vote power of the common stock, Series A preferred stock, or Series C preferred stock voting as on a converted to common stock basis entitled to vote thereon, voting together on a simple class, exceed the votes cast against the amendment. Our board recommended that the shareholders vote to approve the amendment of the certificate of incorporation to effect the reverse stock split at the present proposal one. The conclusion, this concludes the presentation of the agenda. If anyone still voting, please finish now. All shares of capital stock of Mullen Automotive Inc. that are represented at this special meeting of stockholders by one or more parties are hereby voted in accordance with the instructions and appear in such proxy regarding proposal number one. It is, if no instructions was provided on the proxy granted the proxy holder and are to the extent that the proxy holders have discretionary authority to vote such proxy, the shares represented by the proxy hereby voted in favor of the proposal. Tony?
According to the preliminary will share a certificate of my final tabulation for filing with the proxy.
Tony, we've lost you.
According to the preliminary results, proposal one has been approved. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Very good. I will prepare a certificate of my final tabulation for filing with the proxies, ballots, and my report for the minutes of this meeting.
Thank you, Tony. We will file a Form 8K reporting the final results with respect to the matters voted on today in accordance with the SEC rules. We will now answer questions that are being entered today on the web portal. However, before we begin, let me remind everyone that any comments regarding management, beliefs, expectations, and plans for the future, and any forward-looking statements made in reliance upon the safe harbor provisions of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995, forward-looking statements are not guarantees of future performance and are subject to various risks, uncertainties, and assumptions that are difficult to predict. Therefore, actual results may differ materially from those expressed in any forward-looking statement. Forward-looking statements can be affected by many factors, including those described in the risk factors and management discussions and analyst sections of our 2022 annual report on Form 10-K, our quarterly report on Form 10-Q, and other filings with the SEC. These documents are available online at www.sec.gov. Lastly, our forward-looking statements are based on information currently available to senior management, and the company has not assumed any duty to update such statements. In order to answer as many stockholder questions as possible, if we receive multiple questions on the same or very similar topic, we will consider those questions and answer them together. Please note, we will attempt to answer as many questions as time allows, but only questions that are to the meeting will be addressed out of consideration for others. Please limit yourself to one question. So we're going to answer Daniel Shaw's question. What are the projections of Class 3 deliveries in 2024? In 2024, we anticipate manufacturing 850 Class 3 units. We're going to answer Mr. Gordon's questions. How has the Mullen 5 RS tour been received with the nationwide tour, which, can I see the rest of that? So I'm going to repeat the question again. How has the Mullen 5 RS tour been received with the nationwide tour? What big things can we expect in 2024? Any updates with manufacturing on Class 1 and Class 3 delivery vans? Okay, good question. The Mullen 5 RS tour was received extremely well. We had a tremendous turnout. We were very happy with all of the vehicles that were presented during the tour, not just the Mullen 5 RS, but the commercial vehicles, Class 1, Class 3, as well as the Bollinger vehicle as well, which is the B1. The tour ended, and we deemed it to be very successful. As it relates to the question regarding manufacturing of Class 1 and Class 3, we fully intend on meeting all of our projections that we've given previously as it relates to the 2023 manufacturing projections, and we are on target to continue with that into the next quarter. We have a question again we're going to answer from, let me see, where does this, could you blow that up so I can see it? Okay, question from Daniel here. Why another reverse split? Okay, so we believe that in the event that the company continues to fail to meet the $1 minimum bid price threshold, it stands at the risk of being delisted by NASDAQ. So the reverse split, in our opinion, is needed in order to maintain the minimum bid threshold to enable Mullen continued listing on NASDAQ. Delisting would adversely affect the liquidity of our common stock, since alternatives such as the bulletin board, OTC markets, and pink sheets are generally considered to be less efficient markets. The issue with a delisting is it would adversely not only affect the company's ability to raise capital in the future to support manufacturing and growth, but more importantly, it would affect the shareholders' ability to transact their securities or limit their ability to do so and diminish the potential for any capital that would come in to assist the company in expanding its business plan. More importantly, a reverse stock split is not being proposed in response to any effect of which we are aware to accumulate shares of our common stock or obtain control of us, nor is it part of a plan by management to recommend a series of similar amendments to the board and our stockholders. It's more in line with compliance and meeting our ability to give our shareholders the best opportunity for growth and success. Okay, Ms. Gardner, the question is, why is the company requesting another reverse split? Where is Mullen in the process of manufacturing and delivering vehicles? Okay, so the answer to the reverse split was answered previously, and in the process of manufacturing and delivering vehicles, again, as I stated previously, Mullen is up to date as far as its projections and manufacturing its products on the commercial level, Class 1 and Class 3 vehicle. It believes it has everything in place to continue with its next quarter projections and manufacturing and subsequent deliveries to customers. Can you zoom in on additional questions, please? So I can see them. If you can zoom in, please. Question from Martin Christopher. Says, did you, David Mishry, vote? If so, did you vote yes on the proposal? To answer your question, no, I did not vote. And I chose to abstain from voting as I wanted this to be the shareholders making this decision and not me. So I decided to not vote for this particular proposal. Question from Bernardo Rico. When is the company doing a stock buyback? The company had until December 25th to do up to $25 million in stock buybacks. I believe the company did approximately somewhere in the tune of $7 million in buybacks. Because we're in a what we call a blackout period, our 10K is due on December 29th. We're not allowed to do any stock buybacks or any thing related to purchasing of stocks during the blackout period. We do intend on looking for an opportunity to have our board approve a secondary buyback program that we'll explore going into the new year to enable us to add inventory back into the company. Let me see. Can you zoom in so I can see these, please? So, question here. Last question. I'm being told I've gone over the 10 minutes, but I'm going to answer this last question. It's from Mary Cook. It says, if the RS does not do what you expect, are you will to buy back the stock? The effect of the reverse is to comply with the NASDAQ $1 minimum bid rule requirement. We will do everything in our power to comply, including getting board approval to do a stock buyback if that would support the stock. Again, the company and the board of directors will do everything in its power to support its shareholders and its stock. I want to thank you for your questions.
Alrighty, well, I think that was enough. I don't need to hear any more. Let me tell you what I think. So, the RS has been approved. If you just go look in what happened this weekend as far as the RS went, you would know exactly where retail stands. It's not even close. Again, 95 to 98% every single poll. Everyone voted no. And like the only part that really disappoints me about it being approved is that It makes the FOMO for people that are not Mullen investors that have not been watching what's happening for 2 years. It makes the whole thing of trying to get those new people into here. Um, it makes that very difficult. And so that is unfortunate. But if you guys have been here since the beginning, like I have, if you guys have been watching for 2 years, like I have, if you guys have been watching what we've been through, what we've seen 100% of the time is that the people who got in here have stayed here and have kept buying and always keep buying. And so, again, like I said before this meeting went on, that even if the RS passed, it doesn't change the fact that this is still the only retail movement. This is still the only stock with the fundamentals. And it would seem to me that we have officially reached max FUD, peak FUD. The FUD of where they said they didn't have enough votes on Friday, and then they come back literally 2 days later, no trading days later, and it is somehow approved. So you couldn't have much more peak FUD. You have the Mark Basil guy coming in and straight up lying, saying that the reverse split doesn't affect the warrants, straight up lying and saying that the reverse split is an equal transition or an equal transaction. And those are 100% official lies. And so when this RS gets approved and then we squeeze anyways, Mark Basil's going to look like the guy that was right, and we were all attacking him looking all foolish because we were so scared of a reverse split. And all I got to tell you guys is that the good people win. They always win. The first lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice because it was settled. If it wasn't settled, if it wasn't a big deal, we would have been able to read the October 5th answer from the people we sued, and that is still suppressed to this day. Nobody has eyes on it, and yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's really nothing. I told you from the beginning, there's nothing that could happen to change my opinion on whether I'm bullish or not on Mullen, whether you should buy or not on Mullen. I mean, I look at this dip that's happening right now, and I see a dip before a rip and nothing else. You guys can decide what you want to do. Everyone's got to make their own decisions. In theory, reverse split's supposed to be a bad thing, but the way that this one went down, it just looks like max FUD, max fear. That's all I see, and that stuff gets me bullish. I can understand why if you're not and why if you're angry, but again, I just see this as a whole way to where, like, remember that SEC filing that came in after the reverse split, and it talks about appointing people to the board and changing ownership and all this other bullcrap. Like, it would not surprise me to see the next movement that retail supposedly is ground retail, all just regular investors trying to remove David Mitchery. And I'll be fully against that 100% of the time. David Mitchery is my hero, and I know we're going to win this. And without David, the market was going to be like it is for the last 2 years for forever. But with David, it comes to an end at least, and I know it does. So I'll let you guys ask any questions if you want. Let you guys come in and rag on me a little bit if you want, but we're still squeezing. What you guys got?
Hey Marcus, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. So what I heard is RS is passed.
That's what happened.
Oh shit, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
It's gonna go to 5 now.
No, it's not.
I have to sell in 6 figures. I'm selling it.
Well,
740,000 loss, man. 740,000 loss. No matter what, I have to sell, and I will sell it.
all right, bro.
You know.
Well, that's your
Yeah,
that's your choice, and
because this
since
this
you're no
thing
longer in
will be
Mullen,
shorted
well,
down back again to 5 cent. You
well,
know,
I don't know.
one
I
to 10 or
disagree. I
one to
disagree.
100.
And so, since you're selling, you're no longer a Mullen
No,
investor.
no, I'm
Then
not
we're gonna,
selling. I'm not saying you anybody to sell, but I'm saying this thing will be repeating the same thing happened with previous two RS.
and I'm telling you, it won't. I'm telling you, there's too
You
much
can
that's being hidden and um, being suppressed from us right now that they wouldn't be suppressing it unless there was something happening. And I assure you, it is happening. The squeeze is
let,
on. It is
let's
coming
see. You
before
are
the end of the
here.
year.
I'm here. Even if I sell, I come and join the space and listen what you guys have up to say.
For sure.
But yeah, but This thing is not going anywhere.
Well, good luck.
Garbage is garbage. Yeah. All right, buddy.
Hey, listen, just so you know that the company is still producing vehicles and putting trucks on the road. They're going to be creating revenue. This isn't the end all for Mullen Automotive. All right, look at it this way. Like Marcus says, this is like peak fear right now, right? This could be a buying opportunity. I never want to sell on the low in a company that I have conviction in. Okay, the idea is I'm already down enough for the whole year, and I'm be damned if I sell now.
Yeah,
This
nobody,
is this is this is
nobody that's
peak
already
fear right now.
selling, bro. So, like, that's not the issue. The issue is that we were supposed to get a no vote so that we could get new investors. But now
Of course.
it's just gonna be the same old boys. The first 10,000 that got into Mullen with me back in 2022. Like, we're just gonna finish this, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, I can't believe it actually happened after the reverse split. Like, how is this possible?" And it's gonna be obvious. Like, just watch.
Right, but Marcus, what I'm trying to say is, if you guys think about it this way, it's not that they're ever going to have another reverse stock split coming up. Do you know what I mean? So this is it. After the split happens, at least now we can start to say, hey, look, this could be the bottom. This could actually be the bottom of Mullen, and we could start going up from here after the reverse split takes place. So let's just see if there's more news released, and when they start buying back shares in the company, then that'll help create momentum. So
Go ahead,
I'm still
Barbie.
believing the company, and we're going to make it, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Tim. Go ahead, Barbie.
Yeah, I'm just looking at what happened recently with HYMC, Highcroft Mining. They had a reverse split, and they have been above sea level since that split.
Who are you talking about again?
I'm saying about HYMC
Yep,
have
you're
had a
correct
reverse
about that.
split. So and they went up. They've gone up since then. I know that the price of silver, gold, etc., but you've got to look at it as being an extremely shorted stock, the same as Mullen. I see this as a positive. I'm about to grab a shit ton more shares, a shit ton right now, because this. Right, you knew already from my posts on Twitter. This is what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted, because we can push the shorts out quicker if we have. You know how much it's going to cost them now to short us? They were shorting a stock before. They were putting puts on down to a cent from 12 cents. That's nothing. I could do that all day long. They can make a fortune doing that. Now they're going to have to. They're going to struggle to get the capital.
Yeah, so I mean, HYMC is definitely an example of something that had a reverse split over a month ago and has still not fallen below its reverse split price. And so, again, here mathematically, you got to understand that if they have no dilution left, a reverse split literally changes nothing. And if they had 10 million shares, then a reverse split gives them $100 million of dilution power now. And so, with that dilution power, it's it's literally nothing. Like, again, all it takes is one of the real suppressed news, like one of these things being suppressed. One of these news got to drop, and when it does, it doesn't matter the reverse split. It doesn't matter if they had a billion shares. It's so cheap. Retail's gonna show up. They always do. And unfortunately, because of the way the reverse split went, retail's probably not showing up until after we're already above $1. And again, like if it's a reverse split, then it's above $10. Like if we do a 10-to-1 reverse split, then we'll go from $1 to $10,000 a share in the squeeze, is my opinion. None of this changes any of the squeeze math except for potentially extending how long it could take. But I still think we see it by the end of the year. I mean, if you really ask me, this is the dip before the rip. This is max FUD. This is what they do. And again, the biggest thing about all of it is the retail that showed up from the beginning. They've seen everything I've seen, and they never left, and they always kept buying. And that's not going to end. Everywhere else is a distraction. Retail only has a chance in Mullen. And so if you believe that the good guy does win, if you believe that their corruption has been exposed and that they are obviously working against the will of the people, if you believe that David Mitchery isn't the one in charge of any of this and he's just an employee for the company until we save him, until we force this squeeze and get the debt lenders out of there and put a little money in Mullen's pocket, like it's not David's company and David just got to read whatever's put in front of his face. And so again, I just think that the next thing that they're leading up, they like David Mitchery has not handled any of these meetings in how long? I think since 2022, honestly. And so that tells me that like they're bringing David out to make him look like the bad guy so everyone turns on David like they've already been doing for the last 6 months. And I'll be here to destroy all the ones that try to hurt my David. We couldn't have been here without him. There was no company in the stock market strong enough to create this movement outside of Mullen. And that doesn't change. Reverse split doesn't change that. So, all right, guys. Well, has anyone else got any final thoughts? I think we're just gonna like. It wouldn't surprise me if Mullen ends up green today. Honestly, I just think this. Is, I don't even know if the reverse split's gonna happen. Like if we squeeze before the reverse split, I think they might pull it. I think they'll have to.
Well, obviously, there's a lot of vitality. It's very turbulent at this moment, but the stock was down when it first announced at 30% down, and now it's already gained half of that back. So there's definitely people buying the company right now. They're buying the shares because it's at such a low, cheap price. You know, the valuation is so low right now.
Yeah, I
So
mean
you're right.
we just hit the 52-week low today, and then we're already back up above the 52-week low previous, and so again, you look at the SPX, it's at its 52-week high today, and it is $50 away from its all-time high. And every squeeze that's ever happened is when the SPX is at its top. So, I mean, be waiting for SPX to be 4,800 before you actually expect Mullen to squeeze. But yeah, I mean, that could literally happen tomorrow. And the way that they created today to be such a FUD day, it wouldn't surprise me that tomorrow is the day.
Well, I'm sticking with my shares. I'm not selling nothing. All right. I'm for the company. I know Mullen Automotive is going to make it. That's what I have to say.
It's a guarantee. I just wish we could I wish we could have won it in a way where it was just a beat down and no one had to be scared and everyone could just be celebrating on Twitter right now, but that's okay. Go ahead, Barbie.
Two takes from this. Obviously, first of all, I'm very bullish. So, the first thing I've noticed earlier on was when David Mitchery, I believe it was him speaking, he said that they can't do anything right now in regards to buybacks because of this. Uh, I didn't really understand what it was. I've seen it a couple times on X, but they said the 25th and onwards they will be buying back, and that's the most positive thing I've heard so far.
Well, what I actually heard was that they have the right to do the $25 million buyback up until the 25th, meaning they have to do it before the 25th. But then he said something like he's in a blackout period, and that if the 25th option to buyback expires, then that they were going to file for a new buyback on like the 29th or something, is what I heard. But regardless, again, all of this is just to make you frustrated, make you angry, make you wonder why you didn't do the buyback Friday or a week before, all these different things, right? And again, I don't think it was David doing any of this, and I think they put David out there to make him look like the bad guy. And he's just a guy who had a great idea and a great business and a great work ethic, and he wanted to build his dream, and they've abused every opportunity to try to crush that dream. And they will lose. They always lose.
David Mitchery did submit the fact that they can extend the buyback period another 6 months after the end of this year. So I believe they have until June 2024 to buy back.
Yeah, so I mean, there's also the whole argument that there's a new SEC rule that it takes 5 days for them to announce the RS. They have to announce the RS before they can actually do it, and it takes 5 days for that to happen from the time they announce. And so that would mean that the RS can't even happen till next Monday, which makes every day this week. Very strong for a squeeze. All right, guys. Well, let's see what happens for the rest of the day, and let's see what happens tomorrow. I'll be around. We'll do some more space calls, and well, just keep up the fight. Again, I know that a lot from Mullen are gonna be here and gonna stay and stick it out because, like, if you get abused, you don't just run away. If you get abused, you fight back, and the only way to fight back is to fight where you're being abused. And Mullen is that place. There's nowhere else you can go and try to have this fight. There's nowhere else you can go and stand with a real community of random people all over the world, that own, like, we own the fucking company. I don't care what they say. And so, if you're wondering how the reverse split could be denied or get approved after we denied it on Friday, what's very possible is that we know that anyone buying overseas and all these different things, that they don't have the right to their vote. So it's possible that these brokers didn't vote with their overseas votes that they have the right to. And it's possible that they saved those votes. And ultimately, it's also possible that retail didn't all vote. Like, that's the most likely outcome because every voting history we've ever seen, retail is not very good at voting. Um,
Well, can I just add as well, Marcus?
and I
That
think
sorry, go ahead.
I think that we just need to wait. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not worried though. So again, appreciate you guys coming by. I hope you still have faith in Mullen. If you need to sell, do whatever you need to do. I don't really care. We're gonna do this with or without you. So you might as well join the party because this party's not stopping. I can assure you that. Blood in the
This is
river
just
needs to be paid. We have
yeah,
blood in the river.
thank you, Marcus, for having the space
Yep.
today. I appreciate it. And this just makes me want to fight harder. All right, I believe in the company. Let's fucking go.
All right, one last comment, Barbie, and then we're ending this.
Yeah, he mentioned before about A stocks being worth one vote and then other stocks being worth 1,000 votes. And I believe that's how they managed to pull this off today because certain votes were worth a hell of a lot more than our retail votes.
Well, the shares that were worth 1,000 votes was only 800 and something shares, so that's only like 800,000 votes, and then the other one was 1 to 1, and that was only 1 million. So we don't know exactly how they won this vote, but what I'd be interested to see is if we actually get the voting tallies. Like, I want to see what the voting tallies were on Friday. I want to see what they were on Monday. And I only remember getting the voting tallies on the very first 2022 dilution approval, where we lost 49% to 51%. So I really hope we get voting tallies this time and some actual information that we can try to dissect what happened. But either way, guys, yeah, Mullen's the way, I promise.